All right, I see we're being recorded. Give me a second to share the appropriate screen. I think this is the correct screen. Seems to be that way. All right, can you guys all see my presentation? Here we go. All right, you got it?
Yes.
All right, great. Glad to hear it. Okay, so let's talk about clean air solutions for Valley Family Child Care Association. We all know that this last year has been like a crazy challenge, right? And everybody knows that the virus, COVID-19, has been spread on through the air, right? So Alen is in a unique position to be able to address that issue, right? So let me give you a brief rundown about who Alen is, right? So we've been in business for 15, 16 years at this point. And the entire time, all we do is air purification, right? All we focus on is air purifiers. So there could be some other companies that you might be considering, or that might have reached out to you that do like air conditioners, dehumidifiers, vacuum cleaners, like whatever. But all we do is air purifiers. So we have really invested a lot of time in money and energy into making sure that we have the best purifiers on the market. Right. So I want you guys during this presentation to think about like the idea of pure air in your workspace. Okay. So what we offer is one of the highest filtrated air movement purifiers on the market. And they are the absolute quietest, best units that you can possibly get. And I know that sounds hyperbolic. However, I will show you later that, we just do offer the best, quietest, most effective units available. So, since, really March of last year in 2019, the urge and the need for air purification really became apparent, since it became obvious that the COVID-19 virus was transmitted through the air, as are many other things. But, so in last year, we've really made an effort as a company to focus on the education market, to really dive into the classrooms, the schools, the school districts, the universities, to really like make an effort to protect them first and foremost. And we've foregone business, that we could have just made an easy buck on, but, in the effort of protecting classrooms. And at this point, we're currently protecting over 50,000 classrooms across America, right? Another thing that is unique to our machines is that we are extremely energy efficient, right? So like your cost of ownership is going to be the equivalent of a 45-watt light bulb running during the day versus 125 watts of power. We are energy certified. We don't put out any sort of ozone out into the air. And when you come to Alen, you do get white glove personalized service. We have extremely knowledgeable customer service experience representatives. You get a lifetime warranty when you sign up for the subscription. So as long as you have a filter subscription, you're going to have a lifetime warranty. So if any machine ever breaks, it could be 15, 20 years down the road, we're happy to replace it. And we've been in business for 15 years. We anticipate being in business for another 50. So how are we helping? So one thing that we pride ourselves on is that we have extremely high air delivery rates, right? And so if you think about the idea of air purification, you need to consider how much air that machine can move. And we can move up to 400 cubic feet per minute, right? which is among the highest in the industry, because you really need to be able to like pull that air through that filter at a very high rate to circulate the air in the room, right? So that you get that multiple air exchange per hour cleaning of the room. And at any of the air purifiers that we offer, you know, we guarantee you at least 2 times an hour air exchange, right? Another way that sets us apart is that we are extremely quiet. We are 50% quieter than other comparable air purifiers in the market. You know, so our flagship model, the 75i, runs at 49 decibels. And to give you an idea about what that actually sounds like, I mean, that's a top of the line, extremely quiet dishwasher. I mean, that's quieter than, you know, a normal conversation in a room, right? Another thing that we do is that we remove 99.99% of particles down to 0.1 microns, and that's going to include, you know, virus size ranges in the 0.1 micron range. It's also going to include like pollen, mold, mildew, bacteria, dust mites, pet dander, you know, human hairs, pet hairs, all this sort of stuff that's really, you know, going to be, you know, causing problems for your students and for your staff, right? And you know, we understand that COVID is the problem right now, but you know, Alen really does offer a long-term solution for your market, for your workspace. So, you know, when COVID is past, God bless, like, you know, hopefully we can get past this thing. You know, you're still going to come across flu season. You're still going to come across allergy season, pollens, mold, mildews, and you know, we offer a long-term solution regardless of what the issue is at the moment. And then we do also offer a very flexible product line. So, you know, we have multiple options of air purifiers designed to fit different size spaces. And we do offer a variety of filters that target specific issues, right? So the pure filter is the True HEPA filter. It's going to remove 99.99% of particles down to 0.1 microns. But since you guys are in California, if you have an issue with smoke, we offer a carbon filter with the carbon integrated into the filter itself. So there's no separate filter changes for just the carbon filter that you need to worry about, right? And so, you know, you can swap them out, or you're able to just kind of like continue on with the regular filter. Another thing that's really nice about our air purifiers is that on a couple of the units that we offer is that they have a sensor that's embedded into the unit. So the sensor is going to take a measurement every once a second, and then every 20 seconds, it's going to like average out those measurements. Excuse me. And then, you know, on the top of the unit, around the power button right here, it's going to display the quality of the air in your classroom. So like, not only will you have this air purifier in your room, like running, but you know that it's working, which is really nice. And then the air quality indicator is going to change colors from, you know, blue to green to yellow to red to purple. And it's going to tell you the quality of the air in your room, right? And it's going to be detecting particulate matter kicked up, you know, by any sort of movement, right? Forced air system, door opening, if you have your windows open or a door opens. So when you see it's changing colors, it's going to let you know that it's, you know, detecting the quality of the air in your room. And so, you know, we do really have, like I was saying earlier, we have multiple options available for different size spaces. The Breeze Smart Flex and the 45i, those are going to be good for like 700 square feet or 800 square feet. So you're thinking like, normal sized classrooms, nurses' offices, front offices, that sort of stuff. Or you have the Breeze Smart Classic and the 75i. Those are good for like 1,100 square feet, 1,300 square feet. And, those are going to be really better for larger spaces, so you can put those in like an auditorium or a cafeteria. Or if you want to put them in a classroom, then you'll be getting more than 2 air exchanges per hour. Another nice thing about our air purifiers is that they do offer a lifetime warranty. So we are one of the few companies on the market that really do offer a full lifetime warranty. And when I say lifetime, we've been in business for 15 years, and I am regularly replacing air purifiers that have been in service for 10, 12 years, because, we still make the filters for them and we stand behind our product. And so finally, you guys would be in good company. We have worked with Claremont Day Nursery, which is out by the Bay Area, International Preschools, which is out in New York City. Childcare Aware is actually a, how do you say it? It's like a childcare
advocacy group.
Sorry?
It's a childcare advocacy group.
Oh, yeah, there you go. And all these other childcare, preschool type facilities. So I'm gonna go ahead and send this back to the group. Do you guys have any questions?
So the sizes that you showed, are these like movable sizes, or these are the huge ones that like how our AC compressors are that goes in the back?
Oh no, they're portable air purifiers. So, at the most, you're going to be winding up at about 27 pounds with our flagship model, the 75i, and they go all the way down to 15 pounds. Another nice thing to note is that, they really do only require every 12 months of once a year filter change.
And what's your filter subscription? I saw it somewhere that it was written.
Yeah, for sure. We have a few different filter subscription options. Let's see. Do you guys see this? All right. So you have the standard filter option. You just purchase them as needed. You would get the auto registration upon shipment, so your units would be automatically registered. It comes with a 1-year warranty, and then you can speak with any customer experience person 7 days a week. You would also have a premium option, which gives you the forever guarantee. So once you sign up for the subscription, as long as you maintain that subscription, your unit would be 100% covered. And it does also give you 15% discount on filter subscriptions on replacement filters. For the Premium Plus, it's very similar to the Premium. It gives you a bigger discount on the filters, and it also gives you access to a dedicated account manager. It does require a minimum 3-year activation, but that is the different options that you have available to you.
And you said we would need to change our filters 9 to 12 months.
Well, it depends on the machine, right? So for the Breeze Smart 45i and the Breeze Smart Flex, it would be 9 to 12 months. Same for the Classic. For the 75i, which is our largest unit, that gives you 12 to 15 months. For any of the machines, I would probably recommend in a high volume facility like a childcare center or school, annually, once a year would be sufficient.
So if anybody has questions, you can unmute and ask.
So is there like a service fee we pay every month?
No, not at all. Not at all. So any of these machines, like you get the machine, and then, you know, the only additional cost would be the annual filter replacements, which, you know, they range from like $69 to like $99 basically. Unless you want to also add carbon to the filter for like smoke purposes, and that adds a little bit, maybe $20 extra per filter. But no, there's no annual service fee. You know, you just would pay the additional cost of annual filter replacements, which you would have to do anyway.
So carbon is not included in every filter. It's just when we want that kind of a filter.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, you know, the filters, you know, it's kind of one thing that makes Alen unique in its filter technology, I would say. So we'll just take the 75i, for example, right? And can you guys all see the screen here with the filters? Yeah, okay. So the standard filter, well, let me put it this way. So all of our filters are going to be true HEPA filters. And what that means is that they're manufactured to a standard that will screen out 99.99% of particles 0.1 microns or larger. So it's like COVID virus and up. So anything bigger than that, it's going to take care of, right? And that's our pure filter. It's our standard filter. It's extremely effective. I don't suffer as badly from allergies anymore since I have these in my house. Now, if you guys have odor problems, smoke problems, you know, cooking odors, anything like that, then the fresh filter is really going to be where you want to be. Now, the nice thing about Alen is that as compared to some air purifier companies where you have the HEPA filter and then a separate carbon filter, on the fresh filter, you have the carbon filter and the HEPA filter all built into one cartridge. So you're going to wind up with the carbon integrated into the back of the HEPA filter. So there's no separate filter schedules you need to maintain where, you know, you may need to change, like on other units, you may, or other, you know, companies, you may need to change the HEPA filter every 6 months, but you may need to change the carbon filter every 3 months. With us, you get 4 pounds, well, 3.6 and change pounds of carbon in the back of this filter. It's integrated into the HEPA filter, and it is just, you know, you don't have to worry about when do I change this filter or that filter. I'm sorry, did that answer your question? It did, okay.
And then when you were showing the previous page where you had different filters, it said, not this one, when you were showing the filters.
Oh, sure, yeah, one second here.
It showed like a PET filter or something, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, sure. So we do offer, we call it a heavy odor filter. There's a PET filter, and then there's the MP heavy odor filter. They're very similar, and they're designed to absorb heavy odors, right? So as childcare facilities, I'm sure that you guys have baby diapers, stuff like that that you have to deal with. So this is actually going to be maybe a more ideal filter for you guys than the fresh filter. So there's this molecular powder. It's this proprietary blend of chemicals that's been certified as safe, you know, so there's no worries there, but is more specifically designed for, you know, bathroom smells, baby diapers, dog, cat urine, really like powerful smells, and I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. This would potentially be like a really good filter for you guys. And it works very much the same way as the fresh filter, where you still have the pure HEPA, the HEPA filter up front, but then baked into the back of it is this molecular powder that's designed to absorb those very powerful smells. Right. So this is good for very powerful smells. The fresh filter is going to be better for smoke, cooking odors, like organic smells, right?
So you said there's a powdery substance in there, and so that means my next question would be, is that safe for kids to breathe into? Since we are all dealing with different age groups, mine particularly starts from 2 months to 13 years. So it's a wide range of kids that we cater to.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So when we call it molecular powder, that's just like what we call it internally. It's more of a granulated surface, granulated like product. So it's not going to be off-gassing or venting into the air as the air flows through the machine. It's really going to be just, if you can imagine like a grain of rice, right? With the carbon filter here and with the molecular powder, those are both about the size of a grain of rice, right? So it's not going to be flaking off, spitting out into the air or anything like that. So either of these options is going to be extremely safe. And yeah, you're not going to have to worry about it, getting anybody sick at all. Yeah, we've been selling this product for, probably 6-7 years, and we have had 0 reports of anybody getting sick.
And do they go in childcare settings as well?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Are you selling it in childcare settings as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I told you that we are in 50,000 classrooms across America. Yeah, we 100% are in, I kind of put this slide together for you guys because this is all sort of like y'all's wheelhouse. But we are in everything from like Anaheim School District, Irving School District, in New York, we're in Florida, we're in Texas. We are in many, many school districts and many, many thousands of classrooms.
So if somebody on this call or somebody who will watch this presentation later on wants to buy one of your air purifiers, one, how do they contact you? Two, what would they be paying? And as coming through the association, the VFCCA, would they be getting any special promotional price or any discounts or anything?
Yep, absolutely. That's a very good question. So you would want to contact either Shaun or Amanda, and you can contact either of them at business@alen.com or our phone number, which is 855-200-5483. We do offer special education pricing. I will be completely honest, I'm a technical sales rep, so I don't really do a lot of sales, but Shaun or Amanda would definitely be able to offer you a better price. And then it's really going to depend, like your price is going to depend on, which air purifier, meet your needs. And, they will have a conversation with you about how big is your space, how many people are in there, what sort of environmental concerns are you concerned about? Is it just, the quality of the air, or are you also concerned about odors or smoke or whatever? And they'll really tailor a solution to your specific needs.
How do you tell how well they're working in your house? Because you just plug it in and it goes on, but how do you know really how clean your air is compared to how bad it is now?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. So we do have on our machines a sensor, right? So on the 45i and the 75i, there is a sensor kind of like built into the side of the machine. That sensor has a micro fan in it, which is going to be constantly pulling air past the laser sensor. Takes a measurement once a second, and then every 20 seconds, it's going to take an average of that last unit of time, last 20 seconds, right? So what it's going to do is going to relay that information to the air quality indicator, right? So what you're going to wind up is around the power button, there's this ring of light, and it's going to be either blue, green, red, blue, green, yellow, red, or purple, right? Blue being the best, purple being the worst. So if it's very smoky outside, or if you're like me and you're constantly burning dinner, it'll be purple, right? But it'll be somewhere in there. So you know that the air purifier is working based on this air quality indicator that's like built into the machines.
So if it's purple, then how do you get it up to blue or whatever?
Well, you turn it on high, close all your windows, and let it run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
just
Do you keep the machine going 24/7 or just occasionally?
that's a very good question. I typically recommend for educational type situations to just let it run 24/7. The 75i, our biggest model, only uses 45 watts of power. So it's the equivalent of running, I mean, like the light bulb in your oven, right? So it uses very little power, but it's going to be in a 1,300 square foot room, is going to be exchanging that air every 30 minutes, so it's going to be really effective at purifying the air. So I typically anecdotally, I will tell you, I have a 75i in my living room. I leave it running on its highest fan speed 24 hours a day, even when I'm not here. I just went on a 3-week road trip, with my wife, left it running, and I had no problem with it at all.
Yeah, but if it stays like, what is it, blue being the best, right? The best color?
Yeah.
So if it stays blue for, a period of time, wouldn't you just kind of shut it off for a while?
Well, you could, I suppose, but the idea is that
Just keep it running?
the idea is to keep it running, right? Because if it's blue, then that means your air quality is good, right? But if it's running on, so if let me put it this way. So if it's blue and you shut it off, right? And then, I don't know, a few hours later, you turn it back on and it's orange or red or purple, you're like, well, no, I'm not breathing super clean air, right? Might as well keep it running. It's sort of like if you have an air conditioner, right? Where if you reach your ideal temperature, you turn it off, and then your temperature rises like this, right? And then your system has to work extra hard to get back
And
down
it
to
takes
the
longer
right
to
level.
cool it off again.
Exactly. Your air purifier will just take longer to get you back to very clean
Where
air.
you want to be. Yeah. All right.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
thank you for explaining this to us, because I have a really small one and I just turn it on for 1 hour in a day thinking that everything is clean. But
Oh, yeah.
now it's going to be different. Because I didn't think it that way, but yeah, it's a different science to it. And I think with COVID, a lot of things have changed. So
Absolutely.
has this new gadget in our life.
Yeah, no, and that's actually a really good point. And, with air purifiers, it really is one of those things where, you need to take into account, the volume of air it can move, right? And by running this appliance like a refrigerator all day long, like you have to take into account the amount of power it's going to consume. A lot of our, not going to name names, but some of our competitors, literally use 3 to 4 times as much power as we do. Compared to like 45 watts, they'll use 140 watts, right? So that's really going to affect your power bill. But you really do need to consider the effectiveness of the filter, which we have like the best filters around, the amount of air it can move, because if you don't move the air, it's just not going to clean up your environment, and then the power that you're spending to run this, and the life of the filters that you're having to replace every however often. With us, it's once a year. A lot of times you see these other air purifiers are rated for half the space that we offer, and they require filters every 3 to 6 months. So one
How does
man's
that work
opinion,
with a
but
fireplace? Is that gonna keep the super clean air when you run a fireplace all the time?
yeah. Well, that's a really good question. I face this question a lot from my customers in like the Northeast. If you run a fireplace, well, let me ask you a question. Is it gas burning or wood burning?
Wood burning 24/7 in the wintertime.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be registering red or purple. I mean, that's just a matter of the fire place running. There's wood burning, there's soot in the air.
It'll never go to blue. It'll never go to blue.
Well, I mean, if you put like 4 in the room, it probably would. But I mean, it's just a matter of the amount of off-gassing material from the wood that it really
Well,
saturates the air.
it's got a catalyst on it. It's got a catalyst on it.
Well,
It's not an open fireplace. It's an insert, but it
oh,
is it's an insert, but it's wood burning, but it's got the catalyst on it.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that type of fireplace. Typically I deal with people in the Northeast that are like having like cast iron, like, the things, what I'm talking about, like the wood burning ovens.
I mean, it's similar to that, but not 100%, but
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely an insert. So it's similar to that.
This kind of fan there.
Where you got to put your teapot on the top of it to put moisture back in the air.
I gotcha. Let me put it this way. I mean, I would expect that you would probably see the machine running, red, purple, or yellow while you're running that fireplace. But the air probably would still be better than if you weren't running an air purifier.
Yeah. So you talk about only needing the filter once a year. How would you know if you needed to change the filter more than once a year, maybe a little earlier or whatever? Does something show on the filter where you go, oh, this is like looking bad or something like that? How would you know if you needed it sooner than 1 year?
Yeah, sure. If you can give me half a second, I think I can pull that up for you. So on the top of the air purifiers, you will see this button here. It's called the filter button. Yeah. And then, it basically runs on an algorithm. It's a combination of time run and fan speed, right? So pretty simple, but it will give you a good indication of like when that filter is needing to be changed, right? So it's going to go from green to yellow to red. It's like a stoplight, right? If you run your air purifier on the highest fan speed, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time, it's going to change more quickly than if you run it intermittently, only while you're in your childcare facility. But it is definitely going to let you know when it is time to change the filter.
So I have a quick question.
Sure.
You said about the color and the air stuff,
Sure.
how to figure out the quality of air, but you also said that it is just on 2 of your products, not the other 2. Am I correct?
There you go.
So when I was seeing the chart, I would look for my daycare. It's a 600 square feet place. So the first one would qualify for my place. But then, so what you're saying is then that this one doesn't have that air quality strip on it. Am I correct?
Well, that is half correct. Let me put it that way. So you guys can see this 4 standout air purifiers slide. Okay. So the sensor and technology about changing colors and stuff, that's on the Breathe Smart 75i and the Breathe Smart 45i. This is the 2 machines which have the most advanced sensor technology, right? And that's going to be kind of what I've been talking about today, right? So this is going to have the laser sensors. It's going to measure it once a second. It's going to change any of those 5 colors. So the Breathe Smart 75i, the 45i, those are going to be kind of what I've been addressing, right? Now the Breathe Smart Classic, and well, let me put it this way. Let me back up a second. So the 45i is going to be basically a smaller version of the 75i. Okay. You know, so this one covers 1,300 square feet. This one, whoop. Sorry about that. All right. And the 45 is going to cover 800 square feet, right? Now you have the Breeze Smart Classic, right, which is an older machine. It has, or an older machine. We've been manufacturing it longer. It has a different kind of sensor technology, right? So whereas the 45i and the 75i have laser technology that's much quicker and it will change the colors more quickly, the Breeze Smart Classic has an infrared technology. So you might see that, I mean, it's still going to be doing a very similar function. It's just that the Breeze Smart Classic will change every 15 minutes, up or down, compared to every 20, 30 seconds on the 45i and the 75i. Now, the last one I want to talk about is the Breathe Smart Flex, right? So it covers 700 square feet. It's very, very similar to the 45i, right? So only 100 square feet of difference. The main difference between these 2 machines right here is that compared to the 45i, which has that sensor technology, it has that, you know, ring of light that's going to be changing colors. The Breathe Smart Flex is almost identical to the 45i, except with the absence of the sensor technology. So you plug it in, you run it on whatever fan speed you want, you let it run, the ring of light's always going to be blue, and you just trust that it does its job, right? So this is a bare bones machine, but I will tell you honestly, I have 2 of those in my house. I wouldn't trade them for the world. They're just great machines. So is the 45i, but if the sensor technology isn't as important to you, it's an equally good machine.
So when you run your heater and air conditioner, is that bringing like, I don't know, chemicals and germs and stuff into your house? Is it bringing the outside in?
No. So to answer that question, it is not bringing the outside in. So any sort of forced air system, such as your HVAC system, like I have down here, in Texas, I'm not sure what you guys have where y'all are, but any sort of contained forced air system is not going to be bringing the outside in. So typically what happens with an HVAC system is that you have like a return, right? And you pull the air through the return, it runs to the HVAC system, it cools it down, it regulates humidity, and then it like spreads it out across the house, right? Same thing happens when you have the heater, but it's going to also be pulling through the return the air, and typically you will have a filter right there at the front end of the return, right? So anytime you're running your HVAC system or your forced air system, you're not bringing the outside in. In fact, you are just recirculating the air throughout the house while also typically running it through a filter, right? So this is actually kind of the best case situation where AC or forced heat, you're mixing the air, right? And then if you have an air purifier in any given room, you're purifying the air that's being mixed throughout the house. So you almost kind of get like a 1-2 punch, right? But no, typically with any sort of home or industrial HVAC system, no, you're not bringing the outside in. You're just sort of like recirculating the air that's already in the house.
Yeah.
So, but
So-
I mean, that will also depend on if you have your windows open, your doors open, that sort of stuff. So that's when you would bringing the outside in.
So with these rooms, once you plug one in, does it have to be an enclosed room, like with doors closed? You know, because like, I mean, we got hallways and stuff, and
Sure.
will that make a difference, or does it have to be inside an enclosed room with the door closed?
Yeah. So generally speaking, what's going to happen is that, these air purifiers are largely going to be effective in the room that they're in. So you have a classroom, a principal's office, the front office, nurse's office, like whatever room, right? And that is largely the air that they're going to be taking care of. So if you have the door closed and the windows closed, then that air is going to be kind of sealed in that room and then will be recirculated every X number of times per hour, depending on the size of the room, compared to the size of the air purifier. Now, that being said, if you have the door open to the room, there may be some minor amount of air exchange from the hallway to the room and back and forth. But really, they're sort of like one room solutions. And to say that you have an air purifier like in a hallway along a room of rows or a row of rooms, it's not going to be taking care of those rooms. It's going to be taking care of that hallway or each room individually. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's next?
This was really educational. I felt I didn't know so much about air purifiers before
Hey,
this.
you guys didn't even ask me the hard questions. You really want to get into HEPA filtration, I can show you some NASA studies.
I was about to ask you. The only question when I saw on the second slide was HEPA, almost HEPA, something you'd written, and then True HEPA, and I was like, what's the difference for me? Both says HEPA, like, the HEPA type and other filters and True HEPA. So what's the difference? And I was like, that will be too technical for me right now. I think this is.
Yeah, no, that's a totally fair question. So Alen uses what's known as a True HEPA filter, right? According to the I'm sorry, I've been talking for so long. I need some water. Okay, so according to like the European grading scale, we are on, it's called H13, which is a manufacturing standard that guarantees 99.97% of particles 0.3 microns or larger. So that's going to be sort of like pollen, mold, mildew, right? Now, we actually have, and Shruti, I'll be happy to send this study to you. We actually had our air purifiers or our filters tested at an independent third-party laboratory that showed that we actually captured 99.99% of particles, 0.1 microns or larger, right? So that's really when you're getting past the mold and mildew stage up into like the virus stage, virus-sized particles. So that's the manufacturing standard. Now, a lot of times if you look at air filters from some other manufacturers, they'll use HEPA or HEPA type filters. So if you don't see True HEPA, then you're not meeting that manufacturing standard. HEPA or HEPA type will capture 99% of particles 1 micron or larger. And that's like approximately the size of like pet dander, dust mites, larger stuff. So it's not going to capture pollen, mold, mildew, viruses, anything like smaller than 1 micron. So we really do have some of the best filters on the market, and that really is like what that point was kind of speaking to.
Thank you for explaining it that so well.
Oh, well, of course. I'm the technical sales representative. I'm the hired nerd, so I kind of geek out on this stuff. I'm happy to talk to you guys about it.
Anybody else has any questions?
What about you, Lisa?
I was just realizing that I'd have to get one for quite a bit of rooms, almost every room. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms that inhabit children at any given time.
Sure.
That's a lot.
But
That
isn't
is
it
a lot.
on the square footage? Because that's what they said, right?
Right, but if it just focuses on that room and it doesn't help like the adjoining rooms, then you have to get more than just 1 unit.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, they are really like kind of 1-room solutions.
Yeah.
Now, I would say that, for that expense, what you would get is protection from COVID, right? I mean, we know we can protect against that, but the other thing that you guys might want to consider is that, if kids don't come to daycare, that's money out of your pocket, right? So, this is going to protect against like the common cold, allergy season, flu season, just all sorts of stuff that keep kids from coming back into the classroom.
Oh, well, and it's a tax write-off. So
I was about to say it's 100%
There you
tax
go.
right now.
Yeah. So there you go.
So it's definitely, I'm definitely interested in it because I suffer myself from really, really bad allergies. And in California, we got this drought going on.
Oh, I
Allergy
know.
season is intense right now.
Yeah, I was out there last week actually, down in you guys know where like Temecula or Murrieta is?
Uh-huh.
All right. So I was down there. It's like halfway between LA and San Diego. And I was telling my wife, I was like, man, I got there and I was just like, I started having trouble breathing. And the next morning I like woke up, and I'm sorry to gross you guys up, but I was like hacking up all sorts of brown stuff. I was like, I feel like just terrible out here, and I didn't have an air purifier in my room, which I'm always used to at this point, and then I just remember driving around thinking like everything is so brown. The air is so hazy. Like, man, how do
Because we
people
don't
live
get
out
any
here?
rain. We don't get rain.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you guys ought to think about trying to think about doing a travel portable one that you could take and put in hotel rooms when you go on vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Probably
are
would-
actually working on a smaller unit
Yeah.
that's appropriate for a 400 to 500 square foot space
Yeah,
that you could travel with.
because that would be great.
But since Lisa is interested in one, I would like Shaun to come up and give us a price, because is there going to be a special rate for the association members if they want to buy something?
Yeah,
from you?
because
You
I'd
gotta-
definitely
you
be
gotta talk to
interested in
their
getting.
people.
I'd definitely be interested in getting 1 or 2,
Okay.
and I'd probably stick with the lower end model, the one that you said that was just as good, because I don't need the colors. I trust the
Yeah.
machine. So
Yeah, and the other thing that I could show you is actually give me half a second. I'm going to disappear off screen real quick.
okay.
Well, if you have an 1,100 square foot house, that would cover the whole house.
Okay,
Not if
I'm
they're
going to
separate rooms, it wouldn't.
all right. So I'm going to show you guys something
Oh,
that's
yeah.
kind of gross, but hear me out.
We wipe
So-
butt for a living. How can it be gross?
Do you see this air purifier? This is the
Uh-huh.
filter. This is the pre-filter, right? So all this gray stuff, this is stuff that's been sucked out of the air. The
Ugh.
actual pre-filter should look like that. This is everything that's been taken out of the air in my house.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
even if you just, look at your heater and air conditioning filter, every 6 months or something, it's like black. I mean, I change my filters
Oh,
in
yeah.
my house like every 3 months.
Well, and
Yeah.
we're just now getting more and more fires too, so I definitely want to see about doing this as soon as possible. So, Shruti, I don't know who you need to contact to see if we can get a good deal, but I would
Well, he
definitely
says the other
interested.
the other two bosses.
Sean is there on the call. Ask.
Yeah, no, it's 15% off is the purifiers.
I'm
So whatever
definitely
price
interested.
Gene had showed you guys, it's just 15% off that.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they can get them to you guys like pretty quickly. There's a warehouse in Las Vegas. So
Yeah, so if you
Okay.
guys
Down the
order, it'd
street.
be a day or
Down
two
the
before it
street.
gets to you.
Okay. Well, I think I want to get 2 of them. So, Shruti, I don't know if you want, but I'm gonna get at least 2 of them.
I don't know, Sean, how you want to do it. If you want her to share privately her details, so you can reach out to her privately.
yeah, I think the best way to do it is here. Let me put my email address in the chat box.
Okay.
Here, let me type it now. If you just want to let me know like what size the rooms are, I can tell you, or I can help you figure out which purifier works the best for you and just put together a quote. Just let me know whatever your shipping address. If you want to include that, it'll make it a lot easier. Are you guys tax exempt or no for this purchase?
So this purchase would go
No,
individually, that's not tax exempt.
Okay.
Hey guys, real quick, I'm gonna drop off for just a second, but I'll be right back. My dog's going nuts outside my
Okay.
bedroom.
SKLEN at Alen. All right. So
I
you
have
want
a quick question while he's offline. What's the difference between his purifier and the one that we received through our?
I'm sure there's probably a big difference in them. And,
Yeah, it's
and the
really-
ones we got don't have the charcoal purifier.
Yes, the carbon purifier. Plus, I
Yeah.
think the ones we got is free and we have to pay here. So that's
Exactly. Other than that, I meant.
No,
other
I'm
than
sure.
that.
Sean, do you remember the name I gave you when we spoke? The purifiers that we got, some of us got from the state.
No, I don't think I got a name. I remember you said there was a larger one and smaller one. I might have gotten a name, but I don't recall.
So the smaller one is Medifair.
Medifier.
Air. And the
Mhm.
larger one, I don't have it here in my room, so I don't know if anybody has it in their room.
Well, I have
If
no
you-
problem paying for good quality materials and
I have too big, too small, but I am still going on for the new property for this one.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
and that's
I'm an asthma I had developed asthma and I don't want it coming back again because of the air in California.
Same here. It's the same thing. I have asthma, but I really like the carbon one more
Yes,
because of the fire and everything around us.
yes. Because we can't even open up the door and then the fire, it just comes, it's just horrible. It's horrible.
you guys will
Up in the
notice.
cabin now, Shruti, it's all smoke
Oh no.
from all the fires. We have a cabin in Twainhart and there's multiple fires up there right now. Yosemite's on fire, Mariposa, all these towns. And so the smoke is just unbelievable now.
Oh no.
So Sean,
Yeah.
the other one is called Blue.
Blue air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean they have it just depends on the size of the room. I mean, if they sent out a small one and sent it to everybody, I mean everybody's gonna have a different size room. So it's gonna be, more effective in some spaces than others. Here, if you tell me what size your room is, I'll make sure you have the proper coverage for that room rather than just letting y'all buy kind of whatever based on price, if that makes sense.
Now, do you, I mean, now we have these other ones, is it okay to mix them? I mean,
Oh,
so,
absolutely. Like
okay,
use
okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
use the other ones for other rooms. And I mean, what
Okay.
I would say is put those in the smaller rooms you have, since that's probably where they're more appropriate, and put these in the larger rooms. And just think about where you're going to have most of the kids at any given time.
Yeah,
You know, these are like 15, 17, 20 pounds, and the larger ones have a handle. So you can move them to other rooms if it makes sense. You know?
okay.
But just think
Yeah.
about where you're going to have the most risk. So maybe, you know, there's a few kids who are coughing and sneezing more in a room. So put it in there, you know, some days.
The problem is finding it to put it away safe so the kids, because it has to be around in an area where it can ventilate and get air circulating. So, you know, to put it in the playroom with the kids, they're going to play with it. So I have to figure
Yeah.
out how to do that.
No, so let me address that real quick. We
Okay.
actually, there's two methods of preventing that, right? So you guys still, I'm sorry, do you still see the no it's working screen here?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if you have the air purifier turned on, all the lights across the top will be lit up. You hit that button once after you set it to whatever fan speed you want, and it turns off all the lights so that it eliminates that risk. Now, if you
Oh.
want to still see the power button on and the light changing colors and know when to change the filter, there's a lock button where you just hold it down for like 4 seconds and it locks out the controls. So again, problem solved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't have a child lock or something on these.
No, that's what I'm saying. We do have a child lock on these. Like you just
Well,
press
the
the
problem
lock
is,
button.
yeah, they're gonna play on them and they're gonna knock them on. You know, it's not like it would be something if we can hang them like up in a corner on the ceiling on the wall, so they couldn't
sure.
get to them. You see,
My
Yeah.
kids
that's the problem.
My kids started all the time, and in fact, I don't even know since when it was running. There was a buzzing noise, and I was like, "What's that noise? Which toy is it?" And then I went, I saw it was on. I don't know when it was on. I have no idea.
But I can figure all that out. I mean, I'll figure it out because it's gonna benefit to figure it out. I'll figure it out.
Gotcha. Now, one other thing I want to address, kind of like at that concern of like where to put it, is that the ground is the best place to put our units, right?
Right.
And it's because our air purifiers draw air in from the sides of the machine, and they shoot it out the top of the machine. So like what's going to happen is that you wind up with this rising column of clean air, hits the ceiling, spreads out, and then eventually like all recirculates like back to the machine. So that's how you wind up with that sort of like recirculatory effect of the air coming back to the machine twice,
You don't have to
3, 4
vent these
times an
through a
hour.
window, do you? Like some little portable air conditioners, you don't have to vent it through the window?
Nope, not at all. It just sits in the corner. You put it in, or it sits on the wall, and you plug it in. You don't have to vent it through the window. There's no extra sort of like condensation like you might find with like a what do you call it? A dehumidifier. Nothing like that. It sits in the room, it runs, it does its job. You basically don't have to worry about it.
Figure it out. I'll figure it out. I do mine in my home. So this is my house that we're talking about. So I don't have large classrooms like that. So I just have bedrooms and a dining room. And so I'm thinking about both the kids' room, one where the babies sleep and the other one is where the toddlers play and sleep. So those are
Sure.
the 2 rooms that I need one in, because the other 2, I have other stuff, which, you know, I have one of my dining room works my whole living room and stuff. So, all right.
All
I
right,
think
gotcha.
that's all.
I mean, like if your bedrooms in your house are anything like the bedrooms in my house, like I'm counting the master bedroom in this, 45i or flex probably be enough to get you 3 to 4 air exchanges per hour if you have a 15 by 15 square foot room.
Yeah, they're not very big.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that would even get you up into like the CDC guideline range of air changes per hour.
Okay. All right. Well, I have Shaun's email, so I'm going to email him probably tomorrow
Great.
and get all this stuff figured out.
Cool. Well, I mean, Shaun, please feel free to share my contact information with all of everybody, and I'm happy to talk to anybody anytime. If you have
Cool.
any questions, let me know.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Jean's
it.
happy to help as well. Here, I'll put Jean's in the chat
Yeah,
as well.
please do. Please do.
Just for
Thank
the
you so much for all the education. That was like too good for me to know that it's not just 1 hour, it's supposed to be more than one. And I still can't get over it, that I was just using it for 1 hour and thinking everything was clean.
No, I
yeah,
run
like you
mine
said,
all day.
It's
Well,
a new
I mean-
gadget that's in a lot of people's lives. So I had
Yeah.
never heard about these before I started working at Alen, and I have
Yeah,
terrible
same here.
hours.
Same
I
here.
used to have one. I grew up with one because I lived in Connecticut and they had, basements. My house, my room was in the basement, so they had mold and smells and stuff. So, but I haven't had one in California. Now I have the little bit ones, and it makes a difference. But I'm gonna have your guys's, and it'll make a bigger difference. So,
Yeah, I'll share
Great.
one last anecdotal tale with you guys. So I started at Allen in September of 2019, and I live in Austin, Texas. And I lived in the city, so you have the VOCs from the cars, city pollution. Mercedes-Benz was putting up a 3-story parking garage next to me, so I had construction dust. And I had like dog and cats that love to sleep in bed with me. So I'm getting it from every angle. And then, it's also cedar season, which I don't know if you guys get out there, but it's just the trees turn yellow, and then at the slightest breeze, they just poof off this yellow cloud of pollen. So I mean, I was getting it from
we
every
have that
side.
up in Plainhard, up in the mountains. Yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my boss Amanda gave me one of these air purifiers, and I brought it home and I set it up, and I'm like, all right, we'll see how it's working. And my wife and we woke up the next morning, we're like, man, I can't remember the last time I slept that well. It like really cleans the air. It really, really does.
yeah. You don't know that it makes a difference until you know.
Yeah, you don't know until you know. That's
Yep.
exactly right. Yeah.
Wow. Anybody else has any questions? Nancy, were you about to say something and then you muted?
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay, what about somebody with skin problems like psoriasis or something like that, where they have all the dead skin that falls off all the time?
Oh, sure. Well, that's a really good question. Dust is definitely handled by our air purifiers. I mean, it's larger than 0.1 microns. So, as long as it's not settling into your, furniture or the floor, and it's like actively floating around as the dust, then yeah, it would 100% be captured by the air purifiers. And that's another thing that I want to kind of like touch on is that for anything that's settled onto the surfaces that you see as dust, the air purifiers aren't going to scoop that up. It's going to be
Really?
airborne particles. Yeah, I know,
They're
surprise,
not gonna
but
touch
some
the
customers,
furniture, Lisa.
yeah, no, some people were like, well, I still have dust. It's like, well, it's not going to take care of the dust, but it's going to reduce the amount of dust. And if you have psoriasis and it's in the air as dust, then it will definitely help with that for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Christine, do you have a question? No, okay. Anybody else have a question? Okay, guys, looks like the end of this presentation for us.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jean, for all this. This was a great presentation.
Yes.
And we learned so much here. Some of us do have air purifiers, like I was just saying before. We got it from the state. And personally, for me, it was like 1 hour a day is fine, until the kids turn it on and you don't know since when this is on.
Right.
But the upstairs was just, and we have a really small one, like this big.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what and how much it's cleaning. Now I have to go and read all the details that
But now you're gonna in those ones, you're gonna have to change the filters a lot more often too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably true. Now,
Yeah.
let's go. So Shruti, like to that point, I mean, if you can figure out the model number and the manufacturer, it should tell you, you should be able to look up like the amount of square footage that it covers. And in our industry, right? So like, for example, the Breathe Smart Classic, or I'm sorry, the Breathe Smart 75i covers 1,300 square feet. That means every 30 minutes you're getting an air exchange. So the 1,300 square feet is 2 ACH or air exchange per hour, right? So if you have not going to name names, but if it says 163 square feet, then that means that in 163 square feet, it's going to be doing twice an hour air exchange. And we all know that that is just over a 10 by 10 foot room. So it's not that big.
no, I
right?
get what you're saying, but before this meeting, I didn't even think about these specs. For me, you got something from the state, put it, turn it on for a few hours, and that's it. You don't think so much about it until somebody tells you all the bits and pieces of it, and then
Oh,
you
sure.
go and read, oh, what do I have? Do I need it, or should I just give it to somebody for free? Because it doesn't make sense in a childcare setting if it's not doing what it's supposed to be done and just taking up space,
Well, I would say that any air purifier is better than no air purifier. So it's not like it's going to hurt anything by having it there.
Yeah.
I feel lucky to work for a company that really does care about the actual machines that go into any sort of room, right? So, if you talk to our CEO, he will tell you the same thing I'll tell you. It's like, it matters about the air flow, it matters about the quality of the filter. And if you don't have those two ingredients, then I mean, I could put some filter on a box fan that I get from Home Depot, and that's an air purifier, right? Well, technically, but I mean, I think that we have a very, very high quality product, and the fact that we literally offer a lifetime warranty speaks volumes about what foot the company is putting forward, right? I mean, I think that we do a good job of offering a quality product and supporting it in the long term.
No, and I personally feel it was my good day that I clicked on that Facebook ad and said I want to know more about it, because if I wouldn't have done it, you guys wouldn't have been here. But I feel you should try and get more in the family childcare industry, because not a lot of providers have that much knowledge about what you gave us today, and it would be nice if providers are educated about this. And it's a good product to have in your house, for the safety
Yeah.
of kids and everybody. So thank you so much for coming in today and speaking to us. It was our pleasure. I learned a lot, and I'm sure others have also learned a
Well,
lot.
it's our pleasure. And if you guys have any sales questions, hit up Shaun, and literally any technical question, I'm happy to talk to you all day long.
Sure, we will trouble you now. Yeah.
All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to let you guys go. Shaun, do you have anything else?
I'm good. Thank you all so much for the time. We really appreciate it. And thank you, Gene, for the presentation.
Yeah,
I always
thank
learn
you
something
guys.
when Gene presents as well.
Yeah, thank you guys
Thank
very
you
much
so
for
much.
joining us this evening.
My pleasure.
All
My
right.
pleasure.
Y'all have a good
Well,
one. Take care.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.